Hey everyone, welcome to Uncanny JMen. We're back again to talk about Miss Marvel, this time episode 2. We are your hosts. I am Jade.
And I am Josh.
And episode 2. So I mean we're 2 out of 6 episodes. These Marvel shows just trying to cut them short on us. I love the 10 episode arc that a lot of like Netflix does, and we've seen some Disney Plus do. But Marvel just keeps cutting it back on us, doing these 6 episode series, and we're like a third of the way through now.
Yeah, it's not a movie, it is a series, but on the flip side, it moves really quick.
Moves quick. Yeah, but so I feel like there's a lot I want to talk about. So let's dive right in. Well, let me just say we get introduced to a new character, Kamran. And right out the gate, they set him up as like this dreamboat character. The hearts are flying. So I wasn't expecting that right out the bat.
Yeah, it moved pretty quickly. He was the new kid at school all of a sudden, and yeah, Kamala took to him quickly.
And it was obviously, I mean, we got a lot in one episode, but it was very suspicious how this new senior shows up the day after she gets her powers, or it may not have been a day, but shortly after, a video goes viral online of her with her powers.
That's right. And he just seems to be the exact perfect match for Kamala, too, and is interested in her, despite being a senior and clearly admired by everyone, and takes a quick liking to Kamala. Yeah, definitely suspicious.
I mean, she does come in with some really high charisma and like confidence level as compared to the first episode.
Yeah,
she walks through
the doors
and
and
awkward.
Flicks the hair.
Yeah. It was pretty good. I like that comparison to show. Yeah, she's awkward, but like now she's got that confidence because she's really proud and happy that she's got powers. But really, she's still kind of awkward.
Yeah.
We'll get into more about Kamran as the episode kind of transpires and more towards the end, especially because I've got some questions for you about this character.
All right.
How you're feeling about them. But
yeah.
Another thing I'm excited about, well, we got introduced to Kamran. We also got to see a lot more of Nakia.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like the first episode, we saw a lot of Bruno and got to know him. And it felt like, okay, there's clearly two friends. She clearly has two friends, but okay, he's going to be the lead one. I guess Nakia is going to be kind of background, but no, it flipped. This episode, we got to know the other friend.
Exactly. And she is awesome.
She is. Yeah.
She's a little activist, trying to go for things. Like the way her scene with Abu at the Eid, I think is what they call it. Eid. That the festival, and she goes up to him to try to get his vote in front of the other person going for it. That scene, I was like, oh, poor guy. He's like, that is politics right there. Like she even said it earlier that like politics is bad, or like politics is, yeah.
She knows the game.
She knows the game.
She's gonna play it. Yeah.
One thing that was mentioned when we had like kind of the powers, learning to do your powers montage. So we got to see a montage, which I mean, we've only seen a few heroes actually like get their powers and not be good with their powers, because there's someone like, oh, we see them get their powers, but that's like a flashback. Or really, there's a few people who are like awkward with their powers, but never really to this level that I've seen. We saw Ant-Man a little bit learning his powers. We got like a montage there. Spider-Man was just kind of awkward with his powers, but he had them for a little while before we saw him.
Yeah.
So this is the first like real, I feel, growing with them. And obviously by the end of the episode, she's still not great with her powers. So how'd you feel about the whole montage learning her powers part?
I enjoyed it more than I would have thought I would have enjoyed such a thing. It kind of gave me flashbacks to Iron Man, to be honest, like the very first Iron Man movie, when he makes it back and he decides he's going to make a suit, like upgrade the suit. And he's working on it and failing and having all these little problems come up, and he's trying to figure things out. Now it's a little different because he was trying to figure out the math behind it and the mechanics. where she's just trying to figure out, I guess, the mechanics of how her powers work and what she should change and how to use them. But it was still kind of fun seeing someone have to learn, because it really makes sense that they all would have to learn at some point.
Yeah, and this could have passed by some people because there's a one-liner partway through the montage, but Bruno has a tablet up, and he says something along the lines of, the powers aren't coming from the bangle, they're coming from inside you. You have the powers.
Yep. He says the bangle unlocked the superhuman part of you.
Yeah. So I believe one of us just recently came out with a video or talking about a potential superhuman powers being within her for some reason. So maybe some more proof on that side.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. So just a few days ago, before I'd seen episode 2, after seeing episode 1, I noticed a couple of things that were very significant in that episode. And if you want to watch my theory on that, you can click on the notification up in the corner. But spoilers on that a little bit. And not really spoilers because it's in the title of it, but I think she's an Inhuman, and that just like she's in the comics, but I think in the MCU she's going to be an Inhuman, and this is Marvel's way of kind of reintroducing the concept of the Inhumans. So watch the video for all the details, but this was definitely another hint in that direction, that the bangle was releasing the power of her inhuman ability. And that was not the only clue from this episode too. The episode had a lot more hints in that direction, so feeling pretty good about that theory at this point.
Yeah, there's a big section of this just talking about family, and referring to, I mean, she even talks to her grandmother, who talks about her great grandmother, who was actually the one who was the problematic person for the family. And we learn a little bit more from the Illuminantes.
Yes.
At the Eid, which, first of all, the clicks
Yeah, that was
hilarious. And then Illuminantes that love to gossip. I saw someone online post, and I love this. I'm not going to take credit for it. It was not from my head, but it was the Illuminantes. How can they gossip if they don't have a mouth?
Yeah.
We're harkening back to the multiverse of madness, where Scarlet Witch removes Black Bolt, another Inhuman, his mouth. But I just thought that was kind of clever. So
yeah, it was. But yeah, the gossip about the great grandmother from the Illuminantes, it was significant. They said that they referred to her as the snake. They said that she cursed everything. There were theories that she had a secret family, and that she killed a man. Now, this was a time of great strife for the family, where there's a lot of risk of people either dying from the family or being separated. We know that story that was told about the grandmother actually did get separated, but then followed a trail of stars and ended up back with the father. And then the mother was lost. I mean, all of this points to the mother in that scenario, which was the great grandmother, having some sort of an ability, being an Inhuman. And so that Inhuman gene being in the family just makes so much sense. And the secret family, it could be that she was already in connection with the Inhumans, and that every now and then someone would see her with this other group of people. Maybe she was trying to live with her family and her normal family, but was also staying in contact with the Inhumans. It's definitely a possibility that these gossip, these rumors about her, there could be truth to them, even if it isn't exactly how it seemed.
Now, I will say, in the comic books, we do learn a little bit more about the great grandmother and about the partition and that whole experience for the family. I don't want to go into it a whole lot, just in case it does come up in future episodes, because this might be spoilers for this episode. I don't want to go too far into what may be coming, just because, I want it to be a surprise, and also it may not happen that way. So I want to be surprised too if they do anything. But yeah, it definitely seems like it's definitely in the blood. It's definitely like family related, the powers. And I feel like we're going to learn a lot more about the powers probably in the next episode in the family and where it comes from.
Yeah, I would agree with that. This episode was setting that up completely, so it just is the logical next step.
Yeah. And another thing that happened at the Eid, which this is kind of funny. So Nakia, if you remember when they went to the mosque, her shoes were stolen. Her Versace shoes were stolen. The kid who falls is wearing the Versace shoes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So should he have been caught? No, I'm kidding. Of course he should have been caught. Like he should not fall. But he did hurt his ankle, I believe, when he landed at the very bottom. Maybe they're gonna find out about his shoes too.
Interesting. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a nice little touch. They don't mention it. It's just there. Those are the Versace shoes. It looks like it looked like it. I'm not like 100% sure, but they did look like it. And then let's see, what else do I have about the Eid? Nakia going for the council for the mosque. A lot of those scenes are the mosque scene where Kamala actually speaks up straight from the comic books. When Kamala is at the party that her mom lets her go to. So mom is trying to find that ground of like, where can I hold on? Where should I let go? And so like letting her go to a party of a friend.
Yeah.
And then the scene where she drinks orange juice and the guy's like, oh, there's vodka in it. That's straight from comic book as well.
Yeah.
Which first of all, never accept a drink from a random person or even
important life
not really close with. And don't trust anyone. Of course, it's going to have alcohol in it.
If you leave your drink down, we're getting very deep here. If you set your drink down and you walk away for a little while, just at parties like this, don't drink it when you get back. You never know what people are going to do to these things. So life advice.
I will say, Kamala, though, she's adorable. Like the way she handled everything, like, am I drunk now? It's like, no, there's, that whole scene of like her being able to go out shows like her family relationship isn't bad. She doesn't have it. Like, there's a lot of times where people are like, all right, this in stories, they make a teenager be rebellious and therefore they hate their parents, or the parents hate them, or there's just a bad relationship. She actually does have a great relationship with her parents, but she also is trying to figure out who she is. And that shows here. It wasn't just like the first episode, there was times where it was like, she doesn't like her parents or whatever, but it shows she really does like them and her parents are trying. So I like that.
And I feel like this kind of hints at that the mother isn't trying to control her, but just really has a dislike of powers. Like, she clearly knows more about the story of her mother and her grandmother than she's letting on. There's some knowledge there that she's not sharing, where she does not like people with powers. And like, Kamala wanted to go to Avenger Con, which is not exactly a party. But she was like, oh, you want to go to a party at night? No, that's out of the question. And this time she directly says, I want to go to a party at night. And the mom's like, yeah, okay, you can go to this one. I think it has to do with the powers and the superheroes, that it was a hero themed and the mom is really trying to push away from that.
Yeah. I mean, it was someone that potentially was a childhood friend, because we do in the first episode when they're like, oh, we need a ride. Well, I want to ask Zoe's parents, and then he's like, no, like they haven't done that in a while. Whatever it was obviously they may have been friends in the past. And so like going to the party, she may have been like, oh yeah. And then also Nakia's going. So like, she's going to protect you as well. And so I definitely think, it was cool to see that relationship is good. Right. So that's, I mean, it's refreshing to see more MCU family relationships are real good all over the place in the MCU. I love that. Yeah,
I agree.
Another thing at the Eid, so we saw a kid start to fall and Kamala was like, I gotta do something about it. And she was holding like she had a scarf, she had things with her. I was like, oh, are we gonna see like the rough and ready outfit, not the leather jacket and helmet and everything? But then she disappears and goes up on the roof and she's in her outfit. And so she got changed. I mean, granted, it's just like a coat and a helmet.
Mm-hmm.
That's not much, but still got changed. It's like the trope that you see all the time in superhero things where it's like you're in your civvies, something bad starts happening. All right, let's go get changed.
Yeah.
Like same thing happened here for him. And then we definitely see her being cautious and awkward, trying to get there until he starts really falling. And she just runs and like instinct takes over.
Mm-hmm.
And it works really well until she does her superhero landing. And the kid falls and she has to keep catching him. And so definitely like a awkward first attempt in front of all these people.
Yeah.
The kid ends up okay, but it was kind of risky.
It was. And I kind of like the way they played it, that it wasn't a complete success, nor was it a complete failure. She did save him, but she felt the stress of that she's not always going to succeed. It's not going to be easy. And so allowing that to be part of her process of learning how to be a hero is that learning that sometimes you make a mistake and people have to pay the price for it.
Yeah.
So I did think that was well done. And I think you buried the lead. Ice cream pizza. It's going to be big.
I mean, I
I'm
do
kidding,
like that. That's
try it.
It's a really smart move, and it's actually something that's used
Yes.
by real like detectives who are meant to talk people off ledges and calm them down and everything, is finding that weird or like something that's comforting to that person. So it
Right.
shows that she's more caring than majority of heroes we see. Even though heroes may be caring, she's like part of the community, talking to people like a person. Is very, very cool to see.
It is.
But then also, let's just say, well, like, before the kid falls, he's safely on hard light surface. And then she gets another one of those visions where it shows a lady reaching out to her and saying her name. And that's when her powers falter a little bit.
Yeah.
I believe that is the same lady that we see at the very end.
Yeah, I thought so. I watched it again and I'm like, yeah, it really does look like the same person.
Yeah.
Which is strange.
Maybe.
Okay. You know more about the comics than I do, so you may know more about this, but yeah.
I've got some thoughts on that.
Okay.
Just to make sure we have the time, I'm going to go ahead and go right into the ending of stuff, and then we'll come back to a couple other cool points in case we have more time.
Sounds good.
So we get introduced to Kamran, and at the end, I mean, first of all, Kamala gets chased by the DODC, Department of Damage Control, using drones that look a lot like Edith, that like a Mysterio used. So they like got that tech and started using it for themselves. Just a cool little note there. But then also he introduces her to his mom, who's in the back seat. And that looks like the lady who's in Kamala's dreams. But also there was a part earlier on with Kamran where Amir comes in when they're having that little date lunch. And Kamala's like, oh yeah, this is our cousin. And then he actually says the name of an uncle. She doesn't. And Amir just accepts that. And so like I know that they in the culture they can call aunties and uncles not like blood related necessarily. But like that, he played it so well there. And then introducing the mom. Do you think that this is the secret family? This could actually be the secret family, not necessarily in humans, but that the great grandmother's secret family descended down to Kamran and the mother. And that's why they're inhumans, or they may have powers.
It could be. Yeah, it definitely could be. Whether it's Inhumans or not, it could be part of that secret family. I mean, I am all on board the everything's Inhumans train at this point.
Well, to be fair, in the comics, and this might be something that might spoil future things, but all right, skip ahead like 20 seconds if you don't want to hear this. But in the comics, Kamran is actually an evil Inhuman. So he is an Inhuman working for bad guy Inhumans. We don't have a true bad guy yet in the series. DODC, kind of not a bad guy, kind of a bad guy. The Sokovia Accords still exist. So are they really bad people for wanting to find and catalog the superhumans as they appear to make sure that they're following the law? Are they bad guys? I don't know yet. But evil Inhumans could show up.
Yeah. And that is something I felt in this episode. I feel like they're trying to make it look like the Department of Damage Control is the bad guys. But there are definitely some key pieces there that hint that they're not horrible. They're not totally evil. For one thing, they're using sonic weapons. They're not using real guns. They're not using anything lethal. They're using sonic weapons and drones that aren't firing upon her. So it seems like they're trying to track her and apprehend her without hurting her. Also, we see some discord in the Department of Damage Control. The two agents, they definitely have a different idea on the way things should go down.
Yeah.
You see, one of the agents starts interrogating Zoe earlier on, and he's doing it his own way. And then the other agent comes in, and you see him he is not happy that she came in. And they have a bit of a conflict between them. And that kind of shows up throughout the course of this. It's just the two of them seem to have a different idea on the way things should go. And he in particular really shows on his face that he is not happy when things are not going exactly according to his plan. So I think the Department of Damage Control, either there's a good person in there, so one of those agents is actually good, and I'm leaning towards him, the male figure, or the Department of Damage Control as a whole could actually be the good guys. And I don't totally trust Kamran and his mother. For one thing, they show up immediately after Kamala displays her powers. Also, and he's very secretive around her. Like he clearly knows what we find out later. He clearly knows what's up. He knows what's going on with her. He's not surprised at all when she takes the helmet off and is like, "Oh, it's you." No, he knew it was her the whole time. But also, I also find it suspicious that Bruno, like immediately after that party, Bruno all of a sudden gets an all expense paid early semester at Caltech. Kamran is trying to get Bruno out, or somebody is trying to get Bruno out of the equation.
Well, I mean, we did see earlier on that he was looking at Caltech, so he applied for it.
Yep.
He is really smart.
Mm-hmm.
So
I just find the timing very suspicious.
You don't think Bruno can get in on his own merit? How rude.
I don't think anyone can get it an all expense paid early semester to one of the top colleges. I mean, I don't care how smart you are. I feel like all those things lining up.
In the comics, he goes to an even better school. He goes to Wakanda.
That's right. That's fair.
Maybe it would be really cool for him to actually go to Wakanda. But because I can do that. But I could see, we know that Kamala goes to Pakistan at some point. So it could be that, Bruno is not going to be in the picture during that part. So it could be that this next episode, Kamala gets even closer to Kamran, and Bruno starts getting a little further away. And it's like, I gotta just take this Caltech thing. Mm-hmm. And so then for a semester, he's at Caltech. She actually goes to Pakistan. And then this series, 6 episodes, who knows, it could have a time skip in it where it's actually her away for a bit while Bruno's also away, and then they both come back to Jersey City around the same time.
Yeah, that could be.
So that's us talking about more towards the end. The things I wanted to add in real fast, I loved Kamala's nose lighting up, and her there's obviously some unrequited part of her powers in her, where she's still not getting a grip on it, but it's also kind of taking over and showing out. I mean, she's wearing her bangle all the time.
Yes.
So can she take it off? We haven't seen her try to take it off.
I wonder that as well. She doesn't seem interested in it. It doesn't seem like she's having any conflict, like she's attempting to get it off. We don't see anything to that degree. I mean, I think she is thrilled out of her mind to have a power. She blames the bangle for that, and she just wants to keep it on because she just wants to have that power. So I don't think she's trying to take it off. I think she is purposefully keeping that on at all times.
I agree. Yeah. It's just, it's interesting that she's different times, her fingers glow, her nose glows, things that might give her away. And maybe that's subconscious. Maybe she wants to be seen and known as the hero, because she even said it herself at one point. So it could be her subconsciously being like, I want to get caught, you know?
Yeah. And immediately after, when she saves Zoe and then she's in school and she has all the confidence, she feels great. But that goes away when she realizes everyone's talking about Zoe and how her followers tripled or whatever it was because she got saved by this mystery hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her comment of, imagine how many followers the hero would have gotten. Yeah. There's definitely a desire there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then her Zoe calling her nightlight. Love it.
Yeah. Sure. And it sticks.
I mean, at some point it'll change.
Yeah.
But who knows when? Because we've had other heroes go by a different name for a while before they get the real name. So
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was a majority of the things I wanted to talk about this episode. Was there anything else you wanted to discuss?
The only other thing is that I loved some of the allusions to other Marvel properties that showed up here. At the beginning, she's joking with Bruno. Kamala's joking with Bruno about that she tried to have Ant-Man powers. He goes, what makes you think you have Ant-Man powers? And she says, because we look a lot younger than we actually are. All right, that is not an Ant-Man power. That is a Paul Rudd power. But I love that was put in there because that's a joke in the real world.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd looking so young when he's not as young as he looks. So I thought that was hilarious. I also liked when she was talking with Kamran and he admits that his mother is still has a huge crush on Kingo Sr.
Yeah.
All right, the Eternals calling them out too.
First time.
Showing that it is all connected. I love that.
First time the Eternals are really referenced at all in any capacity outside of the Eternals movie. So we got Kingo and Kingo Sr., who, if you haven't seen Eternals, same person. It's just Kingo himself. He's immortal. He lives forever. So he was just reinventing himself as the son who looks exactly like his father. Yeah, I love that too. It shows, I mean, they're doing a great job of, I mean, the podcasts, there's like news feeds, articles, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like it really feels like a part of the MCU. And I love
it's showing the everyday people, the other side of the hero universe, experiencing living in this world and what it would be like for people like that. Yeah, it's great. They're doing a fantastic job. Yeah.
Well, that's it for me. So how do you feel?
I feel good. I loved the first episode. I love the way that they introduced it and showed, we got to know her, we got to know Bruno. And she gained the powers, but it was not the powers weren't the focus of the episode. This episode, it was a little more her figuring it out. And we got to learn a little more about some new characters, Nakia and Kamran. And there's still puzzle pieces there that we're putting together. But I think they're doing a great job with how they're setting up this show. And Kamala is so much fun to watch because she's having so much fun in that role. The actress is having so much fun playing Miss Marvel. And that the character, Kamala herself, is having so much fun having powers. It's just a joy to watch. What do you think?
I agree. It is a joy to watch. I mean, it's just fun. It's lighthearted right now. It's like refreshing in some ways. I feel like now the intro's over. So
Yeah.
2 episodes in, I feel like we're done with the intro. We're next episode, things are going to get blown up, maybe even literally, because we do see in the trailers at some point the Circle Q gets blown up.
Yeah.
So we may be really getting into the depth of what's going on over the next 2-3 episodes before they wrap it up in the last episode. So I'm excited to see what's coming next. They've built all the characters, all the side characters even have like their own subplots going on. Like a lot, they're not just supporting Kamala. They are their own lives. The brother is getting married. The best friend is one of them might be going to Caltech. The other one is trying to get on the board at the mosque. Like everyone has things going on. Unlike, I know movies don't have as much time, but like in movies, like Ned, who was kind of like what I would consider the Bruno for Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
What did he have going on? He was just Spider-Man's friend.
He built Legos.
Built Legos. Not a lot going on.
Yeah.
I know they don't have as much time to develop characters, but now he's been in 3 full movies and still hasn't really developed. So these shows give a chance for the entire world, the people. And I said it before and I'll say it again. This is some of my favorite acting because it feels like real people doing real things. Like some of it, yeah, it's cheesy at places, sure. But it feels a lot more like real people and I love it. I'm just really enjoying it. So I'm excited to see what comes next.
Me too. Well, there you have it. That's how we feel. Let us know in the comments down below how you felt about episode 2. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of our episodes, of our discussions and our theory videos. And until next time, thanks for watching.